Welcome back to another episode of Rewilding for Women, where we explore the awakening path and we aim to do that in a way that is real and raw and radically honest. I'm your host, Sabrina Lynn, founder of Rewilding. This particular episode was recorded in our Facebook group. It was funny. I kept trying to record it not as a live, so not in our Facebook group, not as a live recording. And the energy was just jamming up, or it didn't feel full, or I didn't feel like I could connect into bringing this conversation down to the place that it would serve the most, really is how I was feeling. And so I put a little note in our Facebook group, pop up live on money and spirituality in 5 minutes. And then we did it that way. And it was beautiful. It was an awesome conversation, just beautiful shares and beautiful comments. If you've never been in our Facebook group, they're amazing what happens on these lives. I really enjoy them and have such gratitude for everyone who shows up on the lives. It's just this co-creation and weaving of like love and good juju. Like in this particular podcast we were talking about, or in this particular live, we were talking about a workshop that can help with ancestral healing as related to money and our relationship to money, and where have we maybe absorbed some ancestral conditioning or ancestral patterning, or even just energetic in our DNA, where we've absorbed some of this that's very hidden from us. It's very unconscious, and we don't know. We don't even know that it's there. And so we were talking about how we can maybe get into that, and we brought up the Medicine Woman workshop and the Mother workshop. They're rewilding workshops. They're on the online retreat page on our website, rewildingforwomen.com. And we talked about those as like taking you into these deeper places and healing these ancestral lines. And on the live, one of the women, she shares, look, if $50 for that program is too much or feels stressful for you, I would love to gift that to someone. Like, what? How good is that? I just love our community. It made me cry on the live, but I am so grateful to our community. And so just a really big shout out to anyone who touches into rewilding in the ways that you touch into rewilding, and however long it's been, or short or deep, or just touching in, that it's been just really grateful for what it is that we get to do together. So I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you. So just a really big shout out to you and to our community. 2 announcements that I want to make before we go in to the podcast is, one, we're going to do womb healing and awakening in April. We're going to do that as an online retreat. So kind of like the Kali online retreat, we'll do it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, April, I don't know, like 15th or 17th, whatever weekend that is. Just after Easter, we'll go into womb healing, yoni healing, all right. This topic, money, is all tied up in that area of our body. So we're going into first and second chakras. We're going into ancestral stuff is in our womb. Lots of stuff around babies and miscarriages and fertility, and our sexuality and our relationship to our bodies is there. Our relationship to the blood mysteries is there. So we're going to explore that deeply, and we'll do it in an online retreat fashion so that it's more accessible to more. So you'll see announcements for that. If you're part of the newsletter, that's probably the best place to kind of stay in tune. And we always share like discount codes and pop-up things and random things and, special stuff just to subscribers. It's a great way for us to communicate. And then the other announcement is there's 2 spots left in the Feminine Leadership retreat that's happening here in Sedona in March. So if that's something that's singing to you or calling to you, that's living, leading, and creating from soul. So that's a big one. It's a big one as in it's a deep dive. It's 5 full days. It's full on. It's full on. You will not walk out the same person. It's big, and we will do a lot of stuff around money and living our soul purpose. And it supporting us, right? And coming into right relationship with it, living it, how do we do that? So we're going to work in those deep places that we talk about in this podcast, those deep energetic lines, like getting into the deepest, most unconscious places. We are definitely walking into those places over those 5 days. So that's on offer. And this is, it's 3. I'm going to announce a May retreat in Colorado. So a 4-day rewilding for women retreat in Colorado of the 6 faces. So that's working with the 6 faces of the feminine and our relationship to sacred union within. So all 6 faces of the feminine, 4 days in person, 24 women max. So it'll be an intimate circle. And we'll announce that probably this week. It might come out by the time this podcast comes out. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see how things roll. But that just kind of came about 2 days ago. Really, we solidified things and said, yep, this feels right and this feels good. And now it's time to share it, to open the door and see what happens, see what circle comes together and how we create that. So those are just some upcoming events to feel into if something's calling to you. All right, enough of the announcements. Enjoy this episode, and we'd love to hear from you either in the Facebook group. Leave a comment. Love having conversations in the Facebook group or on our blog page if you feel to leave a comment on the blog page, rewildingforwomen.com, under blogs, and then find the episode if you want to share a comment there. That's another great place. So, all right, so much love. Enjoy. Money and spirituality, getting into right relationship or coming into right relationship with the energy of money was inspired by last week's feminine leadership webinar. So I did a 2-hour webinar. It was free. You just had to sign up for it last week. And we explored living, creating, and leading from soul. And as you can imagine, when you start to explore living from soul, money is a topic. Money is a conversation to have. Now, I also want to say up front, this is not a topic I ever imagined we would do a podcast on. Never did I ever imagine. It's kind of one of those topics that I haven't wanted to touch with a 10-foot fucking pole, right? Because of how much sits around money. And now, as we're starting to go into this, I also want to say that I'm offering this, I'm offering this as a conversation that might bring insights to you. I'm offering this as not a be-all, end-all. It's not as fact, this is hard and true, I'm the one who knows the way. Not at all. It's not even at all meant to be that. And so please, erase that, throw any of that stuff out. What this is it's opening the door for us exploring our own relationship to money, our own relationship to the energy of money. And I'm aiming and I'm hoping to be able to give us some different perspectives on money, on the energy of money, on our relationship to money, on possibly some deeper, more unconscious patterns that we have with money or beliefs that we have with money. So I'm going to open up some of those doors, maybe. And the invitation here is to just really let yourself open. So to really walk into this conversation with huge curiosity, like, wow, I'm just curious what I'm going to find out about myself. This whole conversation is about you. I'm offering it as something for you to feel into what's true for you or what bubbles up for you. I might say something and you might go, wow, that is so not true for me. Perfect. You're learning something about you in the know. right? It's showing you something about your belief or your relationship with money in the know. You're constantly learning something in this. And so I need to set that foundation for us before we go into this. It's really you owning your journey through this, and you owning, what your reactions are, what this brings up for you, what insights bubble up for you around money and spirituality, around coming into right relationship with money, and what is right relationship to money for you. So also specifically for you, right relationship for you will be different than right relationship for me. So it's really honoring the fact that we are all very, very unique, and it's taking money and just for this moment, right? Before we start to go into this, just for this moment, like taking money and making it just an energy. Before we do anything, like take it and it's just an energy. So because we have so many preconceived notions, we have so much shit around money, we have so many thoughts and judgments and opinions, and money is bad, money is good, I need money, I'm clingy to money, oh my God, scarcity, I'm scared of money, I love money, I'm money obsessed, I compromise the whole of my life for money. I want all of that gone, right? Not gone, but I want that over here in one bucket. Just leave that in one bucket. Like, leave all of that stuff sit here. Understand that you have a lot of that shit around money. A lot of it, whether it's conscious or unconscious, we all do. We all do. Money now represents survival. So honor that for a minute. Our ancestors, like way back down the line, what represented survival for them was hunting and gathering. That was survival for them. Hunting and gathering was survival. Money for us now is survival. We don't hunt and we don't gather. We do hunt and we do gather via money. So just honoring that money equals survival in this world, and now we're starting to get like, whoa, oh my God. And so just like let that sink in for a minute. Like, that is base chakra. That is base chakra. Safety and security. It is base chakra. It is base chakra. Safety and security. Survival. It is that. So we need to honor it for what it represents to us. That is what it represents for most of us, whether we're conscious of it or not. I can't typically go to the grocery store and get, a gallon of milk with a smile. It might happen, but it's not going to happen for long. It's an energy. And so I really want to I'm inviting us to do this thing of, we're almost like detangling all of the things we have around money from just the raw energy of it. That's it. I know this is hard. It might be super easy for you. You might be like, yep, boom, I'm in. I love it. I got it. I'm separating the two. Here's all of my shit with money, and here's just the raw energetics of money. So just do that in whatever way feels right for you. I mean, this could be like a 5-day retreat on money. So I know we're, like trying to get us to this, but just to whatever degree you can get to in this moment of, okay, just it's just raw energy. It's just raw energy. It's raw energy. So just let it be raw energy for a minute. Just let it be raw energy. It is raw energy. And now when we feel into raw energy, it's like when I talk about emotions and how much we judge grief, like grief. We're like, oh God, not grief. I don't do grief well. I don't like grief. Grief is uncomfortable. There's nothing good about grief. Grief is bad. I was taught that grief was this, da 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 da. But then when we step away from all of our judgments of grief is just raw energy rolling through the body. It's raw energy rolling through the body. Raw energy rolling through the body. It has particular characteristics to it, right? Money, put money there. Just put money there for a minute. Like, money is just this raw energy. I'm literally sitting on cash. I love that, Jade. In the feminine leadership webinar, we talked about a practice of sitting on your wallet and running the energy of money through your central channel. That there's a practice for you. Sit on your wallet. and I know it's like, what? Fuck you, Sabrina. Like, I'm not running energy, but just feel into how that feels for you. Because your resistance to running the raw energy of money through your system will tell you something about your relationship to money, whether you push money away or money is scary for you. You know, like, what are your judgments of money in its raw form, in its raw pure form, in its raw pure form? I'm seriously pushing. I know I'm pushing, because to get it in raw pure form, like pure form, it's divinized. Can you feel that? Like, in its pure form, and I talked about this in the Sedona one day workshop, the divinization of money, like the divinization of money. It's divinized. It's just like any of the other energies. Like, we talk about Kali, right? And we talk about distorted Kali. We talk about wounded Kali. We talk about, you know, like jagged sword Kali, and it's nasty dark goddess. It's just gross. It's coming from fear, right? It's this fear, it's projection, it's nasty. It's not coming from love, divinity, pure, straight, clean expression, like in the highest good for everyone, right? Money is the same. It's the same. It's the same. So it's just another energy. It's just one that we are fucking horrible at. It is one that we have so much shit around. We have so many judgments around. We have so much past life stuff around. We have so much collective conditioning around. We have so much family patterning around. It is horrendous for most of us. Horrendous. There's either this greed or there's a pushing away, right? It's like, oh my God, I need more. It's the only thing that's important is this. I will compromise everything. I'll compromise my passions, my soul, my purpose, my everything, so I can have more of this thing, you know, because maybe my family told me this was the most important thing, or maybe I have such fear of, right? It's safety and security. Remember, going back to what we talked about, it represents safety and security. It represents survival. I have so much fear of not surviving that I'm in this place. Or I'm in this place, like, money's so bad. It's so bad. And this can be conscious or unconscious. And so we are in this place, like, money's bad. Money's like pushing it away. I don't want that anywhere near me. And so go back to that practice. Now think, you know, now we've just explored, like, on this hand, it's like this. I will do anything to bring more of it into my life, and I'll compromise everything for it. And then what about this one? What about being on this side? So this is the side that I see a lot of spiritual, I don't even know what word to call it, like spiritual people in, is this side where it's not like, cool, you're not doing this, but you're doing this, like, get away from me. Get away from, money's bad. Money's gross. Money's not good. Money's evil. Money's dangerous. Money does bad things. And you're pushing it. You're literally pushing it away. So neither are in right relationship with money. Neither are good with money. Neither. So think about this. I'm going to give you another example. I'm giving us a ton of stuff to feel into, right? And you just keep feeling, and you keep opening, and you keep going, what's here for me? What's here for me? What's here for me? What's here for me? So before I do that, feel into, you know, if you were going to run divinized money, pure money energy through your central channel, right? Like, how does that feel for you? Do you have this, like, yeah, that's a great idea because that will bring more of it into my life, right? Do you have that? Like that, I'm gonna rip on vision boards again. Like, is it that, like, yeah, that'll make me, like, manifest more of it, you know? So is that why get real, right? We are all about radical honesty, and you don't need to be radically honest with me or anyone else. It's about being radically honest with self. It's you being honest with yourself. Where the hell are you at with money? Where are you at with money? And when you sit on money and you're running it through your system, why are you running it through your system? What it comes up for you, like, yeah, this is gonna put a whole shit ton more in my bank account. Yeah. Is there that energy, or is it like, I don't think that's a good idea, Sabrina. You're crazy. Like, you're crazy, lady. You've lost your fucking mind. I'm cool with like inviting in priestess. I'm cool when we invite in golden light through our central channel, but I am not cool inviting in money. It's just a little thing to feel into, like a little, it kind of makes you get real with it. And if you do the practice, well, you're gonna get even more intimate and even more real with it, right? Like breathe it up into your first chakra, breathe it into your second chakra, breathe it into your third, breathe it into your fourth, breathe it into your fifth, breathe it into your sixth, breathe it out your crown, see what happens. See, but you're not calling in all the shit that comes with money. So here's where people will screw up this practice. You're not calling in all of the judgments and all of the goo and all of the grossness that comes with money. You're calling in divinized money, divinized, like the pure essence, the raw energy of it. That's what you're inviting in. You're inviting that in, nothing else. Nothing, the other stuff, you don't want the other stuff, and I get that. But what happens when you legitimately can get to the raw, pure energy of money, right? And you can use a different word, abundance, or whatever fucking word you want to use that makes you feel all right, because like sometimes we even have a problem with the word money. So whatever word that is, but when you bring that in, it's the raw, pure essence of it though. Like it's divinizing. So a conversation I was gonna share, an example, this was the example before I brought us back to that practice. An example is money as an energy and getting super radically honest about what is my relationship to the energy of money. It's like, I'm just giving us another example. It's like, what is my relationship to the energy of masculine? I'm trying to feel into how I was gonna use this example. Far out when I like weave down another rabbit hole and then try to circle back to the thing that was coming in at the moment. It's like, yeah, this is it. So a lot of times in rewilding retreats, we'll be embodying feminine and we'll be opening up to the feminine. And a part of opening up to the fullness of our feminine is also what is our relationship to the masculine. It's a part of it. And it's what is our relationship in ourself to our own masculine, right? And so there's a practice of inviting in divine masculine energy into our systems. And it's such a telltale of where, I mean, for me, like I start doing that and my whole system just goes like, right? Because to me, it's divinity, like it's divine light. It's divine light. It's life. It's, I call it like, oh, now we're gonna go into sex. I call it like a shaft of light, right? Like the phallus as a shaft of light. And so when I start to feel into inviting divine masculine energy into my system, because it's so pure for me, it's so high vibrating for me, it's so clean, it's so beautiful, it's so enlivening, because I've done like, I don't know how many years of stuff around this energy, that my whole system, my like yoni opens, my womb opens, as I just think about it just now, like even just inviting us, and I feel my whole body go like, oh yeah. And it opens my heart to more love, right? It opens my whole body to more love, to more light, to more bliss, to more joy, to more of me, really, to more of my essence, to more of my fullness. And so I'm sharing that as now, what does money energy do in your system, right? Like where are we at with our relationship to money, to legitimately bringing money into our system? And a lot of women in circles will be like, oh, I thought we were only working with the feminine. Like I'm not good with inviting in the masculine. Like, no, thank you. Like, not having it, not having it. And I'm sharing that just as a kind of an example or a stepping into something else to take us off of our minds off of money and to sort of try to like, it's so hard. I can feel into people's psyches, right? And I can feel into the collective consciousness around money. And it's so hard for us to like wiggle out of the deep shit that is enmeshed in our beliefs around money. It is so hard. It is so hard, which is probably why I didn't want to touch this conversation with a 10-foot pole and never saw myself ever doing this on a podcast, because I thought, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. But here we are, and hopefully it's serving in some way or bringing you something. So I've also talked a little bit, I think I did this on the Feminine Leadership webinar, talked a little bit about how distorted money is in our collective. How much shame is there? How much guilt is there? How much pain is there? How much hidden is there? How much fear is there? How much wounding is there? And it's hard for us to go there because it's like a base chakra thing. It's so deep in like the bowels of our beings. And it's so unconscious for many that it's really hard to access. It's a really hard place to get into. Like it is so well protected. There's so much protection around this place. Like we've created ways of protecting ourselves out of survival, right? Again, we're touching into the very survival of you, like it's survival instinct, it's animal instinct. And there's a whole lot that guards this. It guards your beliefs around it. It guards what works. It guards the patterning. It guards the past life. Like it's like lockdown. I'm telling you, it's a wild, when you go to the raw energetics of it, right? You go to the raw energetics, it's like a lockdown place. And so like, for those who are starting to work in this territory, move into this territory, I'm honoring the fact that like 99.99999% of our population has a bad relationship to money, a terrible relationship to money. So honoring the fact that for those who are starting to wiggle free of it, right? Wiggle free of it, you're pushing the collective. You're pushing against a big Goliath of shitty, distorted energy. It's like sexuality. Those pushing, and sexuality is in a much better place than money is, right? It's in a way better place, and it's still in a really bad place. But sexuality is easier to talk about. It's easier to talk about. But still, those pushing into, all right, getting into right relationship with my sexuality is still on the forefront of human evolution, because most people are still jacked up around sexuality, like beyond jacked up around sexuality. And I always crack this joke of there's a reason why a lot of spiritual traditions swore off money, sex, intimate relationship, right? Like how many traditions, spiritual traditions, have sworn those things off? They've sworn them off. Like you become a priest, right? You no longer worry about money. You no longer have sex. You no longer have intimate relationships. You don't do why? Because it's the first and second chakra. It's the hardest place to divinize. It's the hardest place to make pure. So this is how I think about it and feel about it, and it might be useful for you, is it's like a lot of spiritual traditions have gone, okay, cool, we can like divinize from the heart up, right? The heart up, we can like get God in the heart up. Like we can bring the divine in from the heart up. Like it's hard work to even get it in the heart, because the heart's all fucked up and it does all sorts of like little heart things. I hear people say, follow your heart. And I'm like, yeah, if it's your sacred heart, great. If it's your divine heart, great. But your little heart, that guy is so jacked up and it will do all sorts of crazy things and lead you all down all sorts of crazy paths, right? Because it's like little love. which is fine. But when we're talking about soul and we're talking about this divine expression of it, and so going back to this analogy of the divinization of the lower chakras, the divinization of the shittiest places of humanity, the shittiest places in our collective, the shittiest places, the shittiest, first and second chakra, power, money, sex. Terrible, terrible, right? And to me, why this came up in feminine leadership, and why it came up in Sedona in the one-day workshop, and why we're going to work with this in the 5-day feminine leadership retreat in March, is because part of the feminine path is embodied consciousness. It's embodied consciousness. It's embodiment of the divine. It's the full embodiment of the divine, not just to my heart and up, right? It's the embodying the divine in my womb. It's embodying the divine in my yoni, right? In the base chakra, the basement of my being. It's bringing the light there, bringing divinity there, right? Divinization of money, divinization of my sexuality, right? I now am in a place where my sexual expression is soul aligned. It's soul aligned. It is love. Now it can look like a million different things, right? I can be ferociously dark goddess fucking, and that is love-filled divine expression of my sexuality. And it's the same when you go one layer deeper with money. The same when you go one layer deeper. The expression of it doesn't matter, right? It can look like a million things. You could be a bazillionaire, or you could be living in a tent. The expression of it doesn't matter, but it's the relationship to it that matters. The relationship to it that matters. Can you work with it? Can you dance with it, like sexuality? Can you dance with sexual energy in a way that you are fully open, you are fully aligned, and you are love-filled in your highest good and everyone else's highest good? Now, I dare you to do that with money. I dare you to do that with money. I dare everyone to do that with money, because I will tell you what, I have yet to meet people who are doing it really well. Like, we're pushing there, and I feel like part of what the feminine is bringing in, and you're seeing us do it. You're seeing organizations push into this. They're pushing into divinizing money so that money is not a thing. There's no shit around it. It's just a fucking energy, just like everything else. And we are free to let it flow and move and dance in it. We can dance with it. We can flow with it. It can move, it can flow in, it can flow out, and we don't freak out, right? We can magnetize it, we can let it move, and it's not a thing. It's not a thing. There's not fear. There's not gripping, paralyzing fear around it. And can we go there, please? Like, can we go there, please? Can we go there? Right? Can we start to just read money as just another energy, right? Like, we just read it as just another energy. Like, read sexual energy as I'm reading it, I'm dancing with it, and I'm moving with it. It's just Shakti. Like, I hate to say it, but it's Shakti. It is a form of the divine expression. It is a form of life force. There is life force that flows through money, just like it flows through the tree. Now, most of us can have a much better relationship with the tree than we can have with money. And it's because we live in this world. It's because this is the times we're in. This is the world we live in. This is the karma that we've decided to sign up for. We came in to this world at a time to deal with money, to deal with sexuality. And so it's none of this like cop out, like, oh God, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, you know, I think we missed the fine print on those little soul contracts before we came down. Like, there's that fine print that says like, hey, PS, like, this is the state of the world and you're saying yes to this. Like, I think we kind of forgot a lot of that little tiny print at the bottom. But we are here for a reason, and to really honor that our conditioning around money comes from way more than what you think it comes from. Way more than what you think it comes from, right? We might be seeing like 1% in ourselves. Like, oh wow, I got that from my dad. Okay, good. There's a little bit of consciousness around that. But what about, and this I brought up, and this one gets people a lot. So pay attention, feel into your system. So here's an opportunity to just feel in again. Many of us who are like walking the awakening path or a spiritual path or a call, like seeking higher, whatever. Many of us have had past lives in those realms, and many of us took vows of poverty in past lives. Many of us took vows of poverty in past lives, and we've brought it into this life. So it's like, well, I can't be spiritual and have money. I can't live my life purpose and have money. I can't, right? Because I took a vow of poverty. I took a vow like either you follow God or you follow average society. This is a big one. This is a big one that many of us are not quite. This is hilarious. That was my mom calling. Like if the screen paused for you while you were, or even if you're listening later, that was my mom calling. My mom is wild with money. I love it. I just fucking love it. It's so good. Life is so good. I'll have to tell her exactly when she like rang in, like, hey mom, guess what we were talking about? Your favorite topic. A lot of fear around money. She grew up in a family with 15 kids. So yeah, 15 kids on a farm. So 2 parents, German, came here, 15 kids. Like there is a lot of stuff around money because her babysitting money went to pay the heat bill, so she was, and you can just feel into your own story around money, your own family story around money, and then beyond your family story. So that's just one of the stories, is the family story. And then there's the ancestral, right? The ancestral absorbed conditioning around money. That's not even in like the physical 5 senses can pick it up. It's the absorbed family stuff that comes from money. Like imagine immigrants, like any immigrant family, there's a certain like DNA energetic line that comes through that. It's around safety and survival. Like so just take out money and just go safety and survival. Safety and survival. Take me back to like where is safety and survival? Where is security? Security, safety, survival, base chakra. Where is all of that with my family? How solid are they on the earth? And I was just going to say, like, how good are we all with death? How good is your family with death? Like, where are we at with that natural cycle of death? I'm going to not go into that because that's like a whole nother rabbit hole that will be here forever. So I want to say that. And I also want to honor 2 other aspects. So we talked about ancestral absorbed through DNA, that like we can't see it. It's not in the 5 senses. It's not the physical oftentimes, but it's deeper. And then you look at past lives. What did you come in with? What karmas? You don't have to believe in past lives. I don't care. But we all came in with a little backpack on with stuff in it. So like what's the stuff in the backpack that you came into this life with around money, around safety, security, survival, like what's in there? So there's that aspect of it. And then there's just the swamp that we live in. The swamp that we live in, what is all of the messaging around money that is constantly battering you. All of the messaging around money, all of the messaging, all of it, all of the messaging around money. And not only just the messaging that's coming in, but the collective energy that we live in. So it's like pulling yourself out of the fucking matrix, with sex and money, when it's so incredibly distorted in the whole of our society, and you start to like wiggle out of the matrix. It's literally like, oh my God, I'm plugged in everywhere. The energy of this being distorted is everywhere. And you're trying to like get out of the matrix. And this is why I'm saying we're pushing into this. We're pushing into this place. We're pioneering into this place, pushing into this place where we are getting right with money and where we can do it that's not a word. Someone told me in the last live that irregardless is not a word. So I'm gonna fix that. I know, who knew? Who knew I'd be able to pick that up in the middle of this? That we're able to do that amidst anything, you know, regardless. We're able to do that regardless of the energy that we stand in. Like, we're able to be more solid in our relationship. We're able to hold right relationship with money, even when those around us are not quite in right relationship. Whew. Okay, I want to probably just end podcast here.